Highest common factor and the lowest common multiple seem to confuse a few people because it looks a little bit counterintuitive. However, when you stop and think about it, it really is quite straightforward. So let's look at this through an example. We're being asked to find the highest common factor of 20 and 22. Step 1 is to find the factors of each number. If we look at 20 and split that into its factors, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, you can't go any further than that. 22, 1 and 22, 2 and 11, and that's as far as that goes as well. Step 2 is simple. You find the largest shared factor. Let's look at this. We have got some shared factors. 1 is in both, 2 is in both, and that is it. So our largest shared factor is 2. In this case, the highest common factor of 20 and 22 is 2. Let's look at this second example here. Okay, so step 1, identify the factors of each number. So we've done that here. Step 2 is identify the largest shared factor. So I'm looking for one number that is shared amongst all these factors. 10 is in these two, but 10 is not in this one. 5 is in these two, and 5 is in this one. So 5 seems at the moment to be the highest. There's nothing higher than 5 in these. 3 is not in this, and 2 is in these two, but not in this one. So 5 is the highest common factor of 10, 30, and 45. Let's look now at finding the lowest common multiple, the LCM, of some numbers. Let's find the lowest common multiple of 12 and 20. So we're looking for a multiple of 12 that is also in the multiples of 20. One of the simplest ways of doing this is literally writing these out. I'm going to stop there because I know that 60 is in the 20 times table. I'm going to write the 20s out just to show you that, but you wouldn't necessarily need to do this on both of them. There's 60. 60 is a multiple of 12. It's also a multiple of 20. And it's the lowest multiple that is shared between 12 and 20. So our lowest common multiple of 12 and 20 is 60. Let's look at our lowest common multiple of 4, 5 and 6. If you know your times tables, you probably just get this straight away. If not, best thing you can do is write them out. As you can see, there's far more to write out in this one. However, we get there in the end, we can see that 60 is the lowest common multiple of 4, 5 and 6. Now, let's look at finding the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple of a pair of numbers and look at the differences between. Finding the highest common factor first. Step 1, find the factors. Step 2, identify the largest factor that is in both numbers. So we can see our highest common factor is 5. Let's look now at the lowest common multiple. So we're going to write the multiples of these down. Now hopefully you won't need to go any further than this. Hopefully you'll recognize that 50 is both a multiple of 25 and 10. So obviously you've got. So we can see the lowest common multiple is 50. Many people get confused between the word highest and lowest and seem to think that that needs to be smaller than this. It's a little bit counterintuitive. The highest common factor has to be a number that is at least the same size or smaller than the smallest number given here. The lowest common multiple needs to be at least the same size as the biggest number here. So the multiples tend to be higher than the factors. Okay, so this video deals with the basics. Let's start looking at finding the prime factors and using those in a more efficient way to find highest common factors and lowest common multiples.